You held my hand on the car ride home.
From pioneering musical parents, rising pop phenom Lulu Simon was born into a family tree filled with extraordinary musical gifts. Her soaring, sensitive pop anthems have captured critics and audiences, and her candid lyrics pair with euphoric beats to craft an utterly distinct sound. Join FactsVerse as we explore the upbringing, early career triumphs, and future dreams of Paul Simon's supremely gifted daughter, Lulu Simon. Her musical upbringing. As the daughter of two famous musicians, music was intrinsic to every aspect of Lulu Simon's childhood. Her musical immersion started early, with a home filled with instruments rather than toys, and melodies floating through the air as regularly as the scent of dinner. Even leisurely activities like meandering walks through Central Park were soundtracked by the family, inventing silly songs on the spot. Impromptu jam sessions with multiple instruments might break out at any moment, the living room or kitchen briefly transforming into a concert hall. Lulu also recounts how music was a constant comforting and empowering presence from a very young age. When feeling scared on an amusement park ride at 6 years old, her brother taught her to belt out the lyrics to Bohemian Rhapsody, and she felt instantly braver. She credits the endless exposure to instruments around the house with demystifying the musical process for her and building her confidence. Rather than viewing iconic singers as untouchable talents, she saw her parents and siblings write songs daily and realized she could learn to do the same. The musical affection between father and daughter was set in motion when Paul penned Father and Daughter, a gentle acoustic ode to watching his little girl grow up, released in 2002 when Lulu was just 7. By age 8, she had started taking piano lessons. Though a reluctant student when it came to traditional academics, she took to the piano with deep passion. She soon wanted additional music outlets and taught herself to play guitar during her early teen years. True to her shy nature, she initially kept these efforts completely private. She would steal away to practice chord changes and strumming patterns in the one place she knew she could be alone, her bathroom. With the faucet running for cover, she quietly pieced together her first songs lyric by lyric. When she eventually summoned the courage to share this music with others several years later, her musical family responded with effusive support and pride in her self-crafted creative identity. Their validation gave her further confidence to keep sharpening her guitar skills and write even more personal songs without inhibition. By her late teens, Lulu felt entirely secure in pursuing music as a professional career. Finding her own sound. Lulu knew she needed to shape an identity all her own as a singer-songwriter. Her initial musical efforts as a teenager centered on the familiar acoustic guitar-based folk songs often associated with introspective artists. While seeking a wider audience, she began exploring production techniques for amplifying the emotions conveyed in her lyrics. This experimental shift ultimately led her to the revelation that synth-heavy pop best activated the cathartic experience she hoped to share through her music. According to Lulu, a distinct moment catalyzing her genre departure came while listening to Carly Rae Jepsen's seminal 2015 album Emotion. As soaring synthesizers merged with vulnerable songwriting, she felt her spirit lift as if floating on a euphoric wave. The music flooded her senses more vividly than any she had heard before. But Lulu remained cautious not to lose sight of her early artistic instincts in chasing mainstream pop appeal. While keen to incorporate pop's dance floor-ready production, she valued maintaining lyricism rooted in her personal experiences and relationships. According to the philosophy underpinning her evolving sound, opening yourself up to both joyful catharsis and painful self-reflection before an audience requires equal parts courage and intimacy. So she felt tethering her songs to her genuine perspective was essential. This ultimate result of this balancing act between musical identities is Lulu's signature sensitive pop. Glistening synth and drum machine textures carrying intimate stories of love, loss, and growth. The songs overflow with candid vulnerability, yet simultaneously invite the listener to belt each chorus at the top of their lungs, tears behind their eyes, and smile on their lips. For Lulu Simon, marrying pop and folk and acoustic sensibilities allows her to inspire audiences not only to dance wholeheartedly, but also to feel wholeheartedly along with her. Paul Simon's other musical children. Simon's eldest son, Harper, now 50, most closely followed in his father's musical footsteps. Like Paul, Harper taught himself guitar as a teenager behind closed doors. By 19, he began penning his own folk-inspired songs and even landed a record deal in 2000, though his debut album faced multiple delays before officially releasing in 2010. Since, Harper has regularly put out new music spanning genres from pop to electronic to folk rock. His latest album coming in 2022. His style alternates between soothing acoustic contemplative tracks and more experimental modern productions, each album exploring new sonic territory. Meanwhile, Paul's younger son Adrian, now 31, serves as a bridge between Lulu and Harper's solo work. Having grown up with music constantly surrounding him, Adrian naturally found his way to collaborating with his superstar father. He's credited with contributing guitar, vocals, and/or percussion on Simon's 2006 album Surprise, the inaugural 2011 performance of Paul's iconic Graceland album in full, as well as subsequent tours through 2014. Finally, Paul Simon's progeny of prodigious musical children is rounded out by his youngest son, Gabriel. Now 24 years old, Gabriel entered the world 6 years after his parents' wedding. Of Simon's 4 children, Gabriel has strayed furthest from the family penchant for pop music production by crafting an entity entirely separate from the entertainment sphere. Nonetheless, Paul Simon leaves behind a legacy of musical gifts, both genetic and nurtured, having been imparted to each of his 4 children. While Lulu's melodic brand of sensitive pop may bear little surface resemblance to her father's iconic catalog, the underlying earnestness, candid intimacy, and adept musicianship binds them across genres. Together, the Simon siblings stand poised to carry on the family's creative torch well into the future by leaning into their own unique artistic identities. Critical and fan response. While some newly minted artists with famous parents might coast solely on name recognition, critics and fans alike have praised Lulu Simon's music. Reviews applaud the effortless catchiness of her songwriting, paired with affecting vulnerable themes that depict the highs and lows of young adulthood. Simon's 2019 single, I Wanna Break Your Heart, represented a breakthrough, merging her singer-songwriter foundations with bold pop aesthetics. Music journalists welcomed the infectious track as the evolution of an artist discovering her true sound. Subsequent early singles like Strangers and Alone Tonight build intrigue as she organically refined her sensitive pop brand. While still early in her blossoming career, Lulu Simon has begun grassroots efforts to translate her internet fandom into real-world connections, playing small club shows for fans often her own age. Now it's time to hear from you. Have you heard any of Lulu Simon's songs yet? Are you planning to? Let us know in the comments section below.